So it's like, I guess we're not going through yet. Pretty soon, though. You know what it is? There's a lot of people in the restaurant.
Dude, you know what?
It's like Kid and Christmas here. My boy Avi, only one, heat in the kitchen, opening a restaurant during a pandemic.
Yeah, I don't think I'm the only one, actually, believe it or not. Jason
Really?
Santos. Yeah, there was an article written about it, and Jason Santos opened one, and then he announced plans to like open two more, I want to say. So, I don't know. I don't know what his plans were like pre-pandemic. So, I can just say for us, I know like we're definitely one that like this wasn't something we planned. This came up after the pandemic started. So, this space just became available literally right at the start of the pandemic, and Kyle and I had this plan to do an Israeli take on Southern barbecue for a long time, and so the space came available. It's convenient and easy for us to sort of stretch it two doors down. It's just another way for me to try to keep my team employed, which is the goal, and that's what I've been after for 9 months. So it just made sense to open up the spot.
So let's reset this. So, two doors down from
By the way,
Simca.
welcome to Heat in the Kitchen
Heat
podcast.
in the kitchen.
One piece of feedback I like to listen to people that reach out to me who listen to our podcast. One piece of feedback I've gotten is that like ever since we switched to the Facebook Live, sometimes we tend to cater a little bit too much to that, Corey. And so somebody who's been good to us from day one is listening to this on wherever wherever podcasts are available. This is Heat in the Kitchen. I'm Avi Shemtov, Chef Avi Shemtov.
We should call it Heat in a la Esh.
Tonight it's heat next to the kitchen. But we've got, and I'm here with Corey O'Leary, carbon monoxide. I haven't said that one time. But anyway,
those are the days.
Yeah, those are the days. So anyway, yeah, here we are, Heat in the Kitchen. I think
But
it's
it's like
episode 16 or 17,
18.
maybe 18.
18.
Cool. Hey, hi. You don't know about that. That's a
No.
Jewish thing. So 18 is
CHAI?
Yeah, exactly. So high is like the symbol for life. So 18 is a big number to us culturally.
Oh, really?
And 18 like represents life. So and then today is actually 11/18, and today is the 8th anniversary of the passing of my grandmother.
8th?
My grandmother on my mom's side. Yep.
Really?
Who's it's funny because like my career has revolved so much around the Israeli side of my heritage, and that ends up being the family that sort of gets talked about and I get interviewed about. But my mom's mom was the only grandparent I grew up with, and was super influential to me in my life. And if you met her, like you would appreciate her. Super, like she's a lot like your mom, and like your family. Like she's just like salt of the earth, like just a good person. Like she didn't overcomplicate. Like sometimes like the way you and I grew up, like especially like in the shadows of these cities and stuff, like people just overcomplicate stuff. People are materialistic and whatnot. And like my grandmother was like the type of person, like if I called her with like the problems I'm going through, she'll just say to me, she always used to say like, I don't know, Av. That was her phrase. I don't know, Av. And it was her way of being like, I think you're overcomplicating it.
Right,
like, why don't
right.
you? And she would just, if I would tell her that problem, she'd go, well, sounds to me like you should fix it.
Yeah.
And so whenever I'm like super stressed or down or having a hard time, I always think about my grandmother, Alice Thompson, and I always think like, what would I know what grandma would say to me right now. Like she would just be like, does it matter? Like it just doesn't. Like at the end of the day, you good? Your family good?
Right.
Your family love you?
Yeah.
Then don't trip on the rest of it.
Yeah,
So.
right. So, all right. So we're here in Sharon. So let's discuss what this a la Esh is.
Yeah, so-
BBQ.
Yeah, so Ala Esh, we're calling it Israeli-inspired Southern barbecue. So the concept is like it was really important for me to have a partner in the project who, like, look, I'm super respectful of certain cuisines and like the way that people sort of get to where they get to. Barbecue is one thing that like shouldn't be played with. Like if you're gonna do great barbecue, like it's not something that you just do in the backyard and just like play with like 4 times and then go, hey, I'm ready for this. It's not something that like you approach and you go, well, I've been cooking my whole life and I'm ready to do this.
Unless you're in your backyard.
Yeah, right. We're for like friends, or whatever. But no, it's something that like you really like. You got to work at and you got to be great at in its own right. And so to me, like a huge part of this project was like we had to work with a partner who was going to be the pit master, who was going to be, a true partner,
Yep.
and the barbecue is just that's there. It's totally new for me in my career to have people in the project that like that's theirs and it doesn't get played with.
Right.
I don't have control over everything in this by design. That's intentional on my part. I wanted something Dave Becker taught me a long time ago. He was like, if you don't want to carry all the weight, you got to share the process. You got to let other people add to it.
Right.
So with this, Kyle Crucius, who's a chef and he's been with me for 5 years. Kyle's a partner, and then Brendan Burrick is the pit master, and he's a partner. And there are things on this menu that are theirs, and like I just execute like exactly how their recipe is called. And on the barbecue side, Jay Dunn, who's part of my staff, and like he leans a little bit more towards that kind of cooking. Like he's all about like a smoker and chasing barbecue. He's sort of handling some of the day-to-day operational stuff on the barbecue side. So by the time it gets into the kitchen, like it's there and it's perfect. And I think that's important if you're going to do something like this. It's like there's a lot of stuff that the team has to learn. There's a lot of like execution stuff, but at least I know that like we're putting out barbecue that's like not to be played with.
Right.
As opposed to like if you came in here and like the brisket's like ashtray.
Yeah.
I ruined you. Like I shouldn't be open then. So
yeah, right.
So I'm excited about this. It's fun. It's cool. It's cool what we're doing.
Yeah, you can't be getting that negative Yelp review on the brisket. I've already had it. It's already bombed.
Well,
so.
Right. So like exactly. And by the way, if we do, like I get to go to Brendan and be like, "Yo,
hey, you're the pit master here."
So go, yo, what happened here? No, but like, yeah, we got folks.
We got more customers. Obviously gonna be in an hour.
I'm gonna try not to be, but this is a good time of the day. Did I just pull my headphones off? This is a good time of the day for me to get. So we had like our lunch rush. We did a ribbon cutting.
Yep.
Today, so like Emily Smith Lee and Hannah Switlikowski and Bill Heighton, the select board here, and Sharon came down, and Sharon's been really supportive of me. It's not an accident that I opened a second restaurant in this town.
Yeah.
So we got 11 restaurants, and I own 20% of them.
Is that right?
I mean, that's
it's
the
only
math.
11.
Only 11, yeah.
Wow.
And and then if you count like the chickpea out and about, and it's like 3 out of 12, so that's 25%.
Get those numbers up.
Trying to, honestly, it's a dream of mine that this plaza be like a dope
Avi
spot.
Inc.
No. Honestly, I want more people's energy. Like, I mean, you know this about me even from like back in the music days and stuff. Like to me, like I like. Let me take a weird long way here. Right. And this is I don't want this episode to be all
go too long,
centric.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, I won't go too long. But
well, no, this is your day, Avi. Though there's a reason we're doing this today.
Sure.
It's been steady in and out. And,
yeah. So let me just say this. So I've always tried to be somebody who's like I've got an energy about me. I strive to a certain level. I try to be really good at what I do, whatever it is. And so I've always tried to be somebody who surrounds myself by people who can be like my equal. I don't want followers. I don't want people who depend on me too much. And I don't want people who like I'm depending on too much. And so to me, like whether it's in my personal life, like with my friendships, I married somebody who's great in her own right at what she does. And like, we've got an incredible partnership. I've got great friends, yourself very much included, who are great at what they do, and I'm proud of them. And like, even think about this podcast. Like, I'm just someone who can talk. Like, you make this whole thing happen every week. So to me, like, when I'm saying like, oh, I dream of that plaza, it's like, I don't want to own 11. I don't want to own 8 places in a plaza. I want like talented people around me, and I want a place that like me and my team can go grub at. You know, like around and so like that's just a dream of mine is like to try to make like this little town that I grew up in, like a cool place to come. And so, we're partially there. Like there's a cafe in town that's like super dope. Like they're the reason I opened up in this town, Angel's Cafe. And like, they're just like stupid dope. Then there's definitely places that it's like, we could get better.
Yeah, sure.
But that's true in every town.
Of course, yeah.
Hey, didn't that place, they closed the spot that, what's the name of the spot that like we went to when, like Adley's due date basically was St. Patrick's Day that year?
Oh,
something Tavern or something.
Hold on, you're not talking about Newton. Oh, Patriot Tavern.
Patriot Tavern
Near my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's been closed for.
And it's for lease.
March. Yeah.
Oh, it's for lease.
I know. I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
they didn't ever reopen.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, so I knew the owners of the place before. It was like earlier this year. They literally sold it in like January, February, something like that.
Yep.
Remember my boy Mac? He was bartending there. So it was his mom that owned it. His mom and his stepfather. They owned it, and they sold it legit, like, I want to say, like, February.
Yeah, I remember you talked to that. Yeah, you talked to me about that. You introduced me to that guy. You introduced me to that guy. Yeah.
No, he's a cool kid. I mean, he's about to, like, invent something that's going to, like, kill COVID or something. Probably like he's like a biochemist. Or
That's
something.
cool.
Something stupid.
Yo, did you see the news coming out of Pfizer this morning?
No.
So Pfizer has finished their final testing.
Oh, there's 3 vaccines
at
that
95% effects.
Yeah.
And they're petitioning the FDA for emergency approval within quote unquote the next few days.
Oh no, they'll get emergency approval. It's all about distribution.
I got a question for you. Are you going to take it immediately?
No. Well, there's no point for us to take it, right? Like it should be. So there's a huge debate scientifically on who should get it first, right?
Okay.
Now, I mean, like I shouldn't get it first. Like why would you vaccinate me first? You know what I mean? Like you should vaccinate the people who are at most risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's also this debate said, no, you vaccinate like people like us, right? And that way we protect everybody else by having that immunity. So, I mean, I don't have any problem taking it, but I mean, I don't think I'm going to be anywhere near the top of the line to take it. You know what I mean? Like you got to, my grandmother should be taking it well before I ever take it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. I do think, with a rushed through vaccine.
Well, that's why you do the trials, though.
There's a part of me, though, that's
nervous, like you don't know the long-term effects? Or?
Can you imagine if, somehow this got, how somehow, some side effect from the vaccine was a big problem?
Oh, well, of course. But no, that's why they do the trials. And they've shut down trials when there's been adverse events. So,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're never going to know long-term effects, though, or whatnot. Until a year from now, you're not even going to know. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. You have to trust the pharmaceutical companies.
Yep. What is that? Oh, is that Frank? Yep. Yo, Frank. Yo. He's coming back. Oh, cool. Yeah, for sure.
So it looks like we're about to get a couple more cases of brewskis in here.
Dude.
Brewskis.
Frank, I didn't see that was you.
Can't see me through the mask.
No, I know. Welcome. My sister just moved to your neighborhood, and she was just telling me the other day, she's like, there's this cool brewery. It's got great beer. I've been hanging out there. I'm like, what's it called? And she's like, Shovel Town. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's dope. I told her, she's over there all the time now, I guess. She loves it.
Great.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
This is my podcast, Heat in the Kitchen.
Nice.
This is Corey, my co-host, and
What's up?
we record it usually on Monday afternoons, when I'm off and do nothing. But this week we were like, let's record it in the middle of the afternoon at All Ash. We've been doing it kind of here when we were closed anyway, and we do it on Facebook Live. What happened here?
No, I just put it down. But
he just put it down.
Really?
But so it's everywhere that podcasts are available, but we just been recording it while on Facebook Live recently, just because it gets a little bit of traction.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What are you doing? Are you bringing beer?
I'm going to drop you 2 cases.
Dope.
Because I'm going to make you buy my beer.
I want to buy you. So honestly, listen. One of my
I'll drink
bosses, in my early 20s said something that's no one's ever said something truer about me. He's like, you're really good at what's right in front of you, and everything else you let. And that's so true. And I take on so much. No, I love your beer. I love your beer.
Yeah. So I brought 2. Flyaway, which you'll have no problem selling.
Yeah.
But there's a new one called Canbidextrious.
Okay.
So it's 2 cans. Canbidextrious.
Okay.
You can drink it out of either hand.
Oh, dope.
But it's a little bit lighter alcohol than the Flyaway. The Flyaway comes in at 7.2.
Okay.
This is 5.4. It's a hazy pale ale.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Dope.
Both of them are delicious. So,
All right, I'm gonna drink one in a second because I got a Mighty Squirrel
all
here.
right, why don't you plug his business while we're here?
Shovel Town Brewery in Easton,
Shovel
Massachusetts.
Town Brewery.
Yeah. No, I love your guys' beer. Actually, so when what was the name of the place that the folks at Farmer's Daughter had the full scale restaurant? Township. So I first used to drink your beer when I go over there. It was always on tap, and there was I don't know the name of what you guys were calling the beer, but there was a winter almost warming spice beer.
That was our winter ale. I can't remember
Winter
the
ale.
name of it. It's been
It was dope,
around,
really
but it's
dope.
really good.
So I'm somebody I love. Obviously, I drink a lot of craft beer. I love IPAs. I still rock with IPAs, but I find myself in the mood for non-IPAs a lot. And that was a beer I'm like, oh, all right, I'm rock with this. I dig this.
So we do that, and we get a lot of chefs that
Yep.
like the stuff that isn't IPA.
Right.
So we did a smoky maple this time.
All right.
Ooh,
It is
smoky
absolutely
maple.
That sounds dope.
delicious.
Yeah.
And that would be something right up your alley.
Of course,
because,
100%.
And then chefs are doing stuff with it, and that's one of the things that I like to do. I
Cook
have
with
a
beer.
food bend,
Yeah.
I've been on some of your podcasts and some of the other stuff. And like our peanut butter stout, you can do stuff with that. That's just incredible. The guys over, you must know the guys over at Stoughton House of Brews now. It's Rick.
I actually don't know them.
They came out of the Farmer's Daughter.
Okay.
But they were at other places too before.
Hey, you want to join us for a minute?
What?
We'll get you a chair. You want to join us for a minute? Here we go.
Okay.
Sweet. All right. I love it. See, I was kind of hoping this kind of stuff would
I
happen.
can take off my mask.
Yeah, you're good.
Hold on. Why don't I get a beer?
That would be great. I assume you want one of your beers. Otherwise, I got some stuff in the fridge.
All right, good thing there's not a lot of people watching, because I'm going to mess with this camera right now. But Avi, fill the time.
All right. I mean, what am I supposed to fill the time with? I could ask the people behind me what's going on. Oh, Jay, you're still here? Oh, you went shopping? Yeah. Nice. Jay, I was just talking about you on my podcast. Yeah. When you put it like that, it's uncomfortable. Jay just said I was talking about his dope meat. I was talking about barbecue, and you're part of our project, yes. But I did not talk about your quote-unquote dope meat. I'm uncomfortable now. Got cups next door. Want to grab some 16 ounces from next door? Thank you. What is this, Crunch?
So I brought the two that I was going to talk about.
Dope.
So this is the peanut butter crunch. So
Yep.
It's got coffee.
Cool. You want to just talk into that mic?
Sorry, this
No,
is
you're
the peanut butter.
Yep.
We call it PB Crunch.
Yep.
And so it's made. It's a coffee stout with peanut butter and lactose. So the lactose gives it a really creamy, smooth taste. Really good. So
Dope.
this is the one that like people are making brownies with it, making a reduction and putting it over ice cream, all kinds of great stuff like that.
That's awesome. See,
So
I
that
eat
one-
cold peanut butter on ice cream. I'm a peanut butter is that's my. So I take like big scoops of cold peanut butter and eat it like over ice cream and breakfast cereal. Do you know Rich Cambriello at Bone Town Burgers by any chance?
I don't know.
Dude, we got to get him some of this beer. He like his thing since the pandemic started is like everything he makes has beer in it. And he makes like these donuts with beer, and he makes like he's a little obsessed. He's making Rice Krispie treats with booze. The weird part is that he keeps putting vodka and stuff, and I'm like, Rich doesn't drink like that, and I drink like that. I'm like, vodka by design is supposed to not taste like anything. Why would I want a vodka covered? But he's a great chef, and listen, he's good at what he does. I'm sure they're delicious. And he's flavoring them all. But I laugh. I give him a hard time about the vodka, but I'm sure he would go crazy for that. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what he was putting in yesterday. He was like, I don't know. Oh, he did and I just got unplugged. He was doing an apple brandy cranberry mayo.
Wow.
Sounded good.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounded good.
Sounds great. I love that kind of stuff, using ingredients that people, might not expect to be in something has always been right up my alley.
Yeah, I dig that.
I enjoy that a lot.
How'd you I'm unplugged or something. Yeah, I can't hear me. I don't know if it's my headphones. I think it's my headphones. How did you get into making beer?
So it's a long story.
I like long stories. I like long stories. That's the point of a podcast, right?
But actually, I was always into beer from growing up.
Cool.
One of my neighbors they were a German family, a very traditional German family.
Cool.
And they were drinking since they were 14 actually.
Sure.
And it wasn't like drinking to get drunk. It was
No.
to enjoy great.
Yeah,
beer
Europeans
and
get it. Like they get it right. Like they might have a
exactly.
beer for no reason in the middle of the day, but they would never have like 9. I mean, I'm not saying never, but they're not.
Right.
They're not drinking 9 in the
Right.
middle of the afternoon.
They do tend to get carried away once in a while.
Sure,
but-
exactly. Once in a while.
But
that's good for the
that was
soul.
it. So I really developed a liking for beer early on, and I was drinking, a lot of German beers back then, especially. But we would try everything. I had a beer can collection by the time I was 18. That was the drinking age back then, so I'm dating myself a little bit.
That's funny. You got to be almost around my mom was someone who could legally drink when she was 18,
right,
and couldn't legally drink when she was 20.
Yeah,
so she was like at that age where like they switched
it back. She was right about the same age as I. I was born in 1960.
All right. Oh, so she was born in 56.
Oh yeah, so she was.
So I don't know what happened there. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, it's close enough because I lived in Connecticut, so it was slightly different than
Gotcha.
Connecticut and Massachusetts. So
Connecticut's got great traffic.
and great pizza, which is where my love of pizza came.
Incredible pizza. Where's your favorite?
Pepe's.
Same. Can I tell you a cool story? So I cooked at the James Beard House in early March.
Oh, nice.
Right before, the week before COVID regulations hit. And my whole team, in typical, it couldn't have been a more Shemto Group story. We, had this one event that really means a lot to me every year, Beyond Bubby's Kitchen, which an organization called J Arts does. On a Sunday night, we were cooking at the Beard House on Monday. We'd committed to the Beard House before J Arts announced their date. And my team's like, so we got to cancel Beyond Bubby's. Because, the Beard House, obviously, that's a career thing. And I was like, no, we're doing both. So we had events all weekend. We had PAX. It was a crazy weekend. The whole team met at J Arts, where, we had 2 tables. We had tables for Simcha and for the Chubby Chickpea. And then we caravanned down, and I called the people at Pepe's, and I was like, yo, I'm going to be 18 minutes late, after you guys close. I got my whole team with me. I want, a couple of them never been to Pepe's. I said, how about I pay you with a credit card over the phone? You guys leave the 5 pizzas out front. They were like, no, we'll just stay open for you, bro. So they stayed open for us. We get there, they're closed. It's just a great experience. We come outside. And I'd asked Dave Becker, who owns Sweet Basil and Juniper and stuff.
Dave, yeah.
And so Dave's a close friend.
Yeah.
And Dave, I'd asked Dave if he wanted to cook. We'd had a deal for years, whichever, if one of us goes to the Beard House, the other one is gonna cook. And he had a crazy week, and so he kind of had to bow out, and he felt bad about it. And he called me 10 minutes before I got to Pepe's, and he's like, "Yo, I'm on the highway. I'm headed down I'm gonna meet you at the Beard House." And I told him I was stopping at Pepe's, and the timing just worked out. I come out from Pepe's, 5 pizzas in hand, and Becker's standing right outside. So we all just ate Frank Pepe's at 11:40 at night right outside. It's
Right
kind of
there,
cool.
yeah.
It was just one of those experiences.
Cool,
It's
cool.
the best pizza
Yeah.
pizza in the country.
So that's where I grew up. I
Yeah.
grew up in New Haven, Connecticut. My father was from Worcester Square, so just around the corner from where the restaurants
Yep.
are, there's Worcester Square, and it's reminiscent of old Boston. It's a square, and there's all these beautiful homes that are around it,
Yep.
and then that whole area. And there's some great Italian bakeries. There's Lucibello's, which is the one that I like, and then there's another one, which is one I can't remember. But Lucibello's was.
You got that? Isn't there that Italian ice shop or whatever? Isn't that down? Is that the right place I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Or is an ice cream shop some famous ice cream shop? No.
I don't know about that. Maybe. I mean, we had a huge influence from New York City.
Right.
All because of where we were. Everything from New York was coming up to where we were.
Right.
So to finish my story about how I got into the beer business, which was probably 3 stories ago.
And we're with Frank from Shovel Town Brewery, just for all you guys listening out there.
So my next door neighbor approached me one time, and he said, we do this home brewing thing, and you want to join us? And I'm like, oh, that homebrew stuff. I've had
I
some of
killed
that.
this. Can we open a beer?
Yeah. This is a stout. If you want to try that.
Yeah, I'd love to. Is that
Yeah.
cool?
You have a couple of glasses?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. K-Sizzle. K-Sizz. I got a peanut butter stout here.
That's good.
That's your jam.
Look at the head on that.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where's
looks,
Kyle?
looks like a peanut butter cup
Yeah.
right on top.
I was trying to offer this to Kyle, a peanut butter stout. That's his jam.
I've got more. There's more here. So.
Can we give one to Kyle?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is Kyle. He's my co-executive chef, and he ran the Chickpea for a year and a half.
Yeah,
and now he
had the
runs
patience
Simcha.
to listen to me for a few minutes.
Kyle's nothing if not patient. Think about it. He listens to me every day.
You could throw those headphones on so you don't have to hold them, or you don't have to even put them on if you
I have
don't.
a hard time hearing myself and talking into a mic. And I'm like, who is that guy?
Yeah. A lot of people do. Don't worry. Every time.
Yeah,
That's
so-
good. That's really good.
Yeah,
Sometimes I feel like peanut buttery. So peanut butter's a flavor where if you sell me on it,
just my headphones.
peanut butter is one of those flavors where if you sell me on it, I really want to taste it. And I like this. It's peanut butter on the back end, which
Yeah.
I really like.
You get the coffee in there.
Big
a little bit
time.
of chocolate,
Big time coffee.
A little chocolate. That
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
good.
even notice that.
Honestly, this is dangerous at 7.7.
Oh yeah.
It's not. This isn't like a 7.7% IPA where it's keeping it's like a speed bump. This is not a speed bump.
Right.
No, that's a early in the night one.
Yeah, this is a good way to get a
but
bad
the
Yelp
peanut
review
butter,
on your
though.
first day.
Yeah, I like to sell it as a dessert beer. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
this is the one you cap off.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
night
Well,
with.
it's a little bit of sweet.
And I'd like to do this, but I haven't got a lot of traction on it. Is to get desserts in and pair the desserts with the beer.
Oh,
have
yeah.
have some desserts that go well
Right.
with beer. And I tried it on the menu a million times, and it just people weren't
Yeah.
getting it.
You know, it's tough. Whenever I drink, I'm always like, do I want dessert? Nah,
Yeah.
I'd rather just keep drinking.
So the problem with that, I think, just like the chef in me is like, dessert is so alcohol and desserts are both indulgences. So they're sort of competing indulgences. Whereas, so like if I'm drinking, I want something like cutting against that. I want something salty, or I want something like snacky, because I'm like trying to sort of combat my drinking. Dessert is for when I've decided not to drink. So I could like last night,
Right.
like I wrote on Facebook today, or last night, like a whole diatribe about like sort of a tradition for me. Every time I open a new place, I sort of like revisit the early days. And I was saying it was a thing where
Okay, a minute.
I like toast like I toast, in the early days it was always a toast, or it was like, hey, let's do something to celebrate, and it was always with booze. And like last night it was like I got these cheesecakes, and like my son and I ate these cheesecakes, and like I just think dessert and booze is tough. Now pairing them, like not actually pairing the dessert with the booze, but making the booze off of the dessert,
Yeah.
I would think that's an easy sell, especially like do you know Kate Holochek at all?
No, I don't.
So Kate Holochek's a pastry chef. She just started her own thing. It's called Lionheart Confections, and like, that's someone I could think of being like she does this like secret breakfast. I think is her signature donut. So imagine like a secret breakfast porter, and then carry her donuts, and like people might not buy the donut with that, but they might buy both. Like they might be like, let me get a 4-pack to go. And let me get 2 of those donuts. You gotta get 2 of those donuts.
That's the kind of thing I'm trying to get to, and I love the advice, and I really appreciate the feedback on that too.
Yeah,
it's great.
Because again, I think savory is just like when people are drinking, they've kind of like they've checked into like. I feel like dessert is the angel on one shoulder, and drink is the devil on the other,
Yeah.
and like savory is the like you know what I mean? Like I'm eating like truffle mac and cheese if I'm drinking beer. It's just fine.
yeah,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Like
Well,
I'm doing things I know. I'm like, there's no benefit to this, but it just makes me happy.
No, and you always. Well, I guess it depends, right? So, if you're drinking like wine or something, maybe I'm more likely to get
Definitely.
a dessert. You know what I mean? But if I'm drinking beer, I'm drinking beer.
You've had your carbs.
Yeah.
You're ready.
Yeah.
Do you guys sell? Do you guys sell wine at all?
No, we don't. We operate under a farmer brewer's license,
Cool.
and so we only right now serve beer. I don't know if you're aware, but we're working on a deal to open a second location in Foxborough
Dope.
in the old firehouse.
You don't want to come to Sharon?
I'd come to Sharon.
We need a great brewery. Like that would be, dude, a brewery in Sharon.
it's too.
and I would
it's
back
like
you like, whoa.
too
And
close. It's just like too close. Like
It's-
you could drive to East, and I'm literally like I rode my bike here with a
Yeah, yeah.
4-pack one time.
I know, and I drank that 4-pack, and I appreciated it. No, the thing is that like, I actually drank a couple of those beers on my Sunday morning cooking thing, because
Oh,
I
did you?
appreciated
Yeah.
that you dropped it off, and I wanted to make
Yeah.
sure I showed some love. I know they're 2 different draws, but it's like local breweries sometimes are little like pizza shops where like they draw super local, and then
Yeah.
obviously they draw travel. So I get it, but like Sharon, that's something Sharon would support, like because they don't have that, and like it's funny because like with this space, we have a giant unused basement, and a friend of mine brews beer and like I always try to convince him to jump into the water, and I'm like. And then I actually talked to Steinberg at Exhibit A,
Yeah.
who's a good friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, like satellite it, put a couple small guys in the basement. Let's do like almost like test, like, just like 3 or 4 beers on tap all the time, but we only do your beer. Imagine Shovel Town on tap right here, and that's all like those are eventually going to end up in cans or at your other spot, but they all start here, and it's just your 5 BBL or whatever systems. And you're just testing them out of here, and the people that know that like that's where the peanut butter stout starts. Like come in here, drink some
Yeah.
beers.
Yeah.
And for me, like I wouldn't want anything out of it. My whole play is just like if you can rock with, and this is what I was talking about right before you walked in. If you can rock with people that have the same energy and are good at what they do, and are equal to you in like their capabilities, then there's a synergy. So it's like if I draw people in here because of barbecue and they try the beer. Or if people come here for the beer and they try the barbecue, everyone's winning. Everyone's winning all the
Exactly.
time, and it's like a co-sign situation.
I always try to have those same kind of interactions. So we work well with the farmer's daughter. We've done a million things with them. Langwater Farm, we do a ton of stuff with them. They're great friends, and we try to work together where our synergies make sense and really leverage that. So it's a great idea. Here's some of the issues associated with it. You want to make good beer. You've got to. It's not you throw it into a tank and you come back. I mean, there's guys there every day.
No,
measuring
of
it.
course.
Science.
Yeah.
Yo,
Science.
Real quick, Bradley or Chris, or does anybody see? Rachel, did you see that we have a new order? Make sure you're checking on those. I get a notification. That might be right. I get notifications. Just make sure we see all the orders.
So before you came in,
Sorry.
Avi was talking about he wants to have this whole strip plaza.
Take the whole place.
Like
up.
Avi Inc.
No, I don't know the opposite. The opposite.
Yeah, but he's
I
trying to
want
get-
great
that's why-
talent. Like I want.
That's why he's trying
I
to
want a
recruit
Shovel Town
Town.
Brewery in this
Yeah,
plaza.
that's
Like,
right.
I want this plaza to be full of people that aren't me, that are just super dope. So that way it's like so it's weird in Sharon. And this podcast isn't like hyper Sharon. So like I know I go on these diatribes. I probably bore people.
It's pretty
But
hyper Sharon.
the thing about Sharon is that Sharon's a big town geographically, not population-wise, and yet folks think of like this side of town, like the plaza, as like far away or like the out of the way. I figured out the other day. So there's 11 restaurants in town, of which I own 2, but 5 of them are in this plaza. And so the thing is, like that means half of the restaurants are in one place. And to me, like imagine if we had a Shovel Town Brewery in this plaza. Imagine if we had like a dope bakery. Like now all of a sudden you got like
I got those 2 things covered.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I in fact, I'm working on a project now with a woman that makes unbelievable pastries.
Perfect. So let's put those two things in this plaza, man.
Let's
The
do
landlord's
it.
incredible. Honestly, the landlord. You know what the landlord was doing? Like Larry Needle. You know what he was doing last night here? He was helping me. I called him just to ask him. Because I can't just like drill into the face of the building. So I was asking him like, how did the place down the end of the strip put their banner up around the sign? There's no zip tie spots. He goes, I've got a drill and sell tapping screws in my trunk. I'm 25 minutes away. He's like, are you still going to be there? I said, yeah. He came here and like in the wind and rain, he put the banner up with me. Like, and to me, for those of us in the commercial space, if you can get a good landlord, that's 80% of the because that like I mean he doesn't. Look, he gets his rent and like whatnot, and so it's not like he's like bankrolling me, but all the little things like the contractor that built Simca, and I spent a lot of money on that space, and it's a beautiful space. Didn't seat one of the toilets properly, and our exhaust fan. So every once in a while, the place smells real. And my landlord just like brought his plumber in, and he just corrected that. And like that's just he doesn't have to do that. That's actually there's landlords that would be like that's literally not my job because it's literally not.
Right.
But he was like, look, we're in this together. Like I want to have great tenants. I want you to succeed, and he's just awesome.
Yeah.
So if I could say anything to anyone I was recruiting to the plaza, I'd say the landlord's dope. Just a great dude.
Well, I'd have to put a shout out to my landlord because he's the same way. Doug King.
Okay.
Doug King, great guy, has built a lot of stuff in Sharon, Foxborough, Easton. And he owns the building, which was one of the old shovel manufacturing buildings. It was a later building. It didn't have.
Is there any space over there that I can take?
He opens a restaurant today, and he's already looking for his next project. That's the thing with him.
That's the same with me. I'm looking for the next thing.
Hold on. So you said you opened it in an old firehouse?
Yeah,
So
in the Foxborough Firehouse, and if it
Pretty
goes
cool
through,
space.
if it
Look,
goes
it's-
through.
I'd actually. Oh, I know that space. Yeah.
Probably a
Right
pretty
on-
cool
it-
space.
That's sick.
It's a cool space, and there's a lot of traffic there.
Right.
You know, Foxborough, I was surprised. It's only 17,000 population. Population in Easton is like 24. And Mansfield, I was surprised. Mansfield's only 23.
Here, just into the mic, because if I can't hear you in here, they can't.
Mansfield's only 23. How many in Sharon?
18. Wait, so we're bigger by population than Foxborough?
Foxborough, I was surprised. 17,000. But the
Yeah, so
difference,
yeah.
the difference with Foxborough is a lot of people go in and out of Foxborough.
100%. Of
course,
There's a ton of traffic.
Right.
You got all the surrounding towns that are there that are going to go through Foxborough. Route 140 huge main drag
Right.
right off of 95. I
Yeah.
mean, you're right off of 95.
Yeah,
here.
highway
It's, like,
access, right.
perfect.
So I want to one thing about me, I'm sure you're aware of already, is that I just kind of keep it 150. So like the thing to me is like I want to do anything I can. That's cool that there's traffic in Foxborough, but like I want to champion Shovel Town to the folks that are like to the bros that are lining up at breweries, because I honestly I'm running out of breweries that I don't have a reason to not support. Like, it's a dirty game, and it's a weird place to be. And, like, there's a couple places. Castle Island, I rock with hard. Adam's a good dude, really good dude.
We work well with Adam. We work,
Matt
he was brewing
Steinberg
some
is
beer
my
for us.
guy.
I
Great
know
person.
Matt.
Like, when the
Awesome.
pandemic happened, he hit me up. He was like, I want to ship you cases, and I want to give them to you because I want to come do, like, a pop-up where, like, we give the beer as an incentive, but, like, you know, the way the liquor laws work, like, you basically give the food away instead, or, like, let's support each other on the 4th of July. We did an all Exhibit A tap list, like, but the thing to me is there's lots of people like Shovel Town, not lots, there's a handful of people like Shovel Town making great beer and there's places that, like, it's getting harder and harder as these breweries get a lot of love to keep them, like, actually being good small business owners. Like, at the end of the day, like, there's dirty, like, it's funny because, like, here I am drinking this, but, like, these guys, like, my food truck used to do Friday nights there, and then they just accidentally, like, an employee there just accidentally forgot that, like, he'd given us Fridays in perpetuity, and he did a schedule, like, many months out in advance, just forgot, and Friday nights were just gone. And I'm like, bro, like, you just took, like, essentially one employee of mine's salary a week away from me.
Yeah.
Like, should I lay that person off and put them at your feet? Like, what the hell? And we've always been good to them. Like, we were quick when, like, the state changed the regs and, like, they needed our food to be open. We changed our processes to make sure, like, we never hiccuped on them. I built, like, when Trillium was like, hey, we need, like, dude, there was a time when, like, they were literally coming outside to buy food from us specifically, just hoping we wouldn't stop showing up. And I was like, no. Like, other food trucks who I recruited to come out there stopped coming because they were like, we can't make money. And I was like, no, I'm in this for the long haul. Like, I believe in this. I think this location is going to work for you. When it wasn't, when that location was dead, now it's a hub for them, and, like, they control the food product, and they, like, process, and they kind of, like, boot you. And too many of these breweries are like that. And to me, I rock with the people I rock with. So I think, like, that's great. Open Foxborough, but, like, also keep your eyes on the city. Like, get into places because your beer's as good as anybody's. Like, why not? Like, I mean, this stout, like, who's making a better stout than this?
That one competes on the national level.
Yeah. I mean, Treehouse makes a great, like, an incredible stout, and Trillium makes some great stouts. But in a blind taste test, people are going to pick what they like. Like, this isn't not that quality. It's not.
There's a ton of, everybody likes something different. They have their own taste.
Like, this isn't thin. The flavor's not poor. Like, this is a dope stout.
We've got a lot of great comments, a lot of great feedback on all of our products, and I don't want to sound like we're pretty humble about what we do.
Hey, listen, we don't ask people on Heat in the Kitchen if
no. And listen, humility, Frank.
Yeah.
Humility is important,
Yeah.
and, like, it's funny because, like, I'm like that too. Like, so it's weird, right? As I've grown, my places, and I don't mean, like, grown to, like, be bigger. Like, Shovel Town's bigger than anything I do. When I say grown, I just mean, like, as we've gotten big enough where, like, I don't make chubby chickpea food anymore. Kyle does, or Andy does, or their staffs do.
Right.
I've felt more and more comfortable saying we're the dopest because, like, if I was the one making it and I'm like, yo, I'm the dopest, it's like, like, you literally make that falafel. Like, it's a weird thing to do. But when these dudes execute the hell out of it and I can say, yo, that's the dopest, it's like I feel more comfortable doing it. And so humility is great, and you should be humble because we live in an objective. Like, there's somebody that's going to drink that stout and go, "This is trash," and you're going to go, "What?" Like, huh? But that's just it's a subjective thing. But this is dope, and, like, there should be more, and, like, it's like I tell Adam at Castle Island, like, Keeper is the best readily available, like, mainstream local IPA on the shelf, and their data will bear that out. And they should be comfortable saying that. Like, they should be comfortable owning that space because it's like, will the bros show up and line up on Saturdays for 2 hours to drink it? No. But everybody and their mother that drinks local craft orders it at the bar,
Right.
right? And so it's like, and,
it's on
and it's
tap
okay,
everywhere.
and it's
Yeah,
okay to
exactly.
say that. Like, it's okay to be like, listen, we built something that matters. Like, we built something that matters, right?
I agree. Although I'd call you out on the flyaway because I think that's the best IPA, local IPA available. But
No, when
you
I
know,
say
no,
when
no,
I say mainstream available, I mean
Yeah.
I'm intentional
Well-
when I say this. The shelf space that Keeper and the bar rooms that Keeper's available
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
Flyway's not available as much as Keeper is. I don't see it as much.
Well,
as,
I mean, I live in Norwood, so I see Keeper literally it's like the only beer.
I mean,
that's
listen, if I'm wrong
everywhere.
about that, tell me I'm wrong about it.
no. I don't. I feel like sometimes I'm like where we don't get the notoriety and the visibility.
The
that
visibility,
some
I think, is true. Like, I think that's true.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, again, like I just don't see it as much. And that's, I
Yeah.
guess, what I'm saying to you now is that like, it's great. So like, and you know what? Maybe it's because you're so nice and like that is dope that you're being. Maybe like, maybe you don't have these sales guys that bother Chris until he finally orders it because
Right.
if it was just in Simcoe, it would just be there forever. It would just be there forever. Do you ever have canned heat?
Yeah.
You like it?
Some of their stuff is good, you know.
Okay.
I'll never say anything bad about another brewery.
No?
You know, it's not fair, you know.
I give honest opinions. Like,
Yeah. Well, I can't.
Well, that's the reason we started this podcast.
you should.
because Andre gives his
Canned
opinion.
Well,
Heat's dope.
you know-
No, Canned Heat's beer is dope, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Dope. Impossible to do business with. Like, they just like, it's weird. They've never been in the business, so like they don't understand, and they like their sales guy just got Canned Heat on tap at Simca because he realized like you just got to find that moment right in front of it. Like if you
Right.
called me or texted me and were like, "Can I send you a keg this week?" I'd be like, "Yeah, send me two. Send me two and send me 2 cases of beer too." And it'll be like that. It'll be that simple. And then you're just like, someone like Chris will end up writing the check. And like, by the way, when you're little like that, I mean not little like you guys are big, but little like when you don't not care about money, get it COD with me in the same way. No, because I'm never like I got it, like I'll pay it, but we won't. I'll be just as bad about that.
Yeah.
So it's more like we want to write check. Like I'll tell them like, yo, it's cool that you ordered 2 kegs from, Bog Irons. Like I love Bog Iron.
Yeah.
And like they just text me like every week, and they'll be like, these are the 6 things we have right now. Will you take it? And I'll just be like, yeah, give me 2 of that and 2 of that. And then I'm like, please make sure the driver takes a check, because otherwise they'll have to hound me for like 3-4 weeks for a check. And it's not that I don't want to write the check; it's that I gotta get to Chris. I gotta
trying to
ask
open
him
a
to write the
restaurant
check.
here.
Right? It's that like,
Yeah.
it's not top of mind for me. And so, but my point is like, it's got to be I think more places got to have it. I want to have it immediately. Now at Ella Esh, it's going to be BYOB. But the cool thing there is Maria at Bread and Butter, right here in the plaza. I'm doing it kind of like in a synergy with her because she carries good beer. Like she carries night shift, and I want people to buy beer there
Well,
and
I'll
come
have
here.
to go talk to her. Too.
100%. And she's hard nosed, but she'll buy it. She will, and it'll sell.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
no doubt about it. I mean,
And if I ask her to carry it, she'll carry it because she knows like I'm doing this sort of in synergy with her. It's like I want you to carry this, this, and this,
Right.
So that my
Well, you're not
like,
going to sell her on something that's not going to sell
By
out
the way,
of the
this
store.
is like your brand in general is super barbecue friendly.
oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like bikers probably like Shovel Town. Am I wrong?
We get some bikers.
I feel like bikers probably rock with Shovel Town.
We do a lot of cool things. We have great events when we could have events, and we
Yeah.
still have a couple things that are going on. Like we have a running club that's
That's
been
what I'd
going
seen,
on
yeah.
forever. But we also 2 years ago I started a mountain bike club, and that's going really good. But I mean, we're fortunate because there's mountain bike trails right there.
Yeah, of course, right.
And so, so that's been really great. But we've done millions of things. And the other thing, I mean, I know you guys do this too. We give back to the community.
Yeah.
There isn't anybody who comes to our door and asks us for something, and we turn away.
Yeah.
And we feel that it's in our mission statement, and it's something we firmly believe
Well,
in.
it's like-
A person or an organization?
Typically it's an organization.
Because I've started turning organizations away.
Yeah, have you? Like the soccer moms or whatever.
No,
any
so
of
those people I rock with.
I mean,
like,
that's community
yeah,
stuff,
but
right?
it really
Yeah.
depends because like
No, not like a corporate organization.
No, but I'm saying even those organizations. So like, I got to a point a couple years ago where I realized I looked at it and I'm like, problem with good guys like me and you, and you're I think a little bit more of a good guy than me in that respect, is that we say yes because we're like, we're empaths. Like we're like, I feel you. Like I want, but if we really looked at it like, all right, stop and look at year end. If you stopped and said, this year we have $5,000 that we can just give out
Right.
in community help, is your organization what aligns with our desires,
right.
not our marketing desires. Like for me, a couple years ago I sat down with myself and I said, Av, like what's your chief, like what matters to Av the most, and it's food insecurity. So now it's like if you come to me with any food insecurity need at all, I'm giving you exactly what you need, and I'm giving you my energy, and I'm trying to find a solution to the problem. I had somebody hit me up 2 days ago, and there's like a small turkey shortage this year. I don't know if you guys heard about this.
You mean
No,
like
There's a
small
shortage of
turkeys
small
or-
turkeys.
Okay.
So what happened
they have
was
big turkeys.
Yeah,
so
okay.
the
Small turkeys.
so large turkeys like 22 pounds and above
Yeah, they're
are
fine.
plentiful.
Right.
But because of COVID, so all small. So for the first time, everybody's buying small turkeys because of
Oh, yeah.
regulations of sizes.
Of course. Right.
So there's a shortage of small turkeys now. What charitably gets given away? Small turkeys.
Yeah.
So these organizations are having a problem because their budget is for the small turkeys. So this woman called me up and she's like, they needed 1,000 turkeys, and they have the donors, but she can't find them.
Turkeys.
So
Yeah.
I put my head together with Paul Mancuso over at Performance Food Group, and I was like, yo, this is the problem. Like, how do we solve this? And he came back to me with, we got 10-pound ready to cook RTC foil wrapped turkey breasts, and we can get you those at that cost that you need. And like, boom, problem solved for these people.
Right.
I'll give you that kind of energy if you align with, but I realized like I had to stop saying yes to everything.
Right.
Because it's like if your organization doesn't align with what my priorities are, not saying I don't agree with you on,
Yeah.
I ask myself like,
You just can't give money to everybody.
am I in favor of wounded veterans? Of course I want to support wounded veterans. But if I say yes to that and I end up in November unable to help the kids that can't get school lunch,
Right.
I'm
take it
feeling
away,
I'm
yeah.
failing my mission.
Right.
So that's where I started having to say
of
no to
course, you-
people.
you have
And I
to
feel
have-
bad about it, but I'm like, bro, like they treat businesses like, let's be honest, Frank, like they treat businesses like they see
A
like
bank.
your Saturday night and they think like he could just give it to us. Like, and they just come knocking, knock. And you're like, we have to make decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't understand the cost and the that
Right.
goes into running.
Well,
a
I'm sure you
business and
learn over
everything.
time too, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you evolve. You're like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna just
But-
give.
but
money to
anyways,
everybody.
I used to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
I
I just
mean,
want to be a good guy.
right.
And then I realized, like, some of these. And by the way, the punishment for saying yes. It sounds. I don't want people to think I'm heartless
Hold on,
here.
it's like-
but the punishment for saying yes is they ask again next year.
Right.
And they say to you, their sales pitches in the past you've given, and it's like,
It's
I
like
know.
a tax write-off for businesses too, just like an
There-
individual.
I'll tell you one of
Yeah, it's
my
tax write-off,
one of
but-
my things
Yeah, no, I
is
just wonder.
if it
So is our
isn't
costs.
personal,
Yeah.
then I feel like if somebody's taking a letter that they've written and then they just copy and paste it and broadcast, you can see that.
Right.
I those are the ones that
Yeah.
I'll ignore.
Right.
And if they're really serious, they'll come back
Yep.
and ask for you. But we get a lot of stuff. But I agree with you, Avi. We typically focus on Easton, and we do a lot with the Easton Food Bank. In fact, for a shameless plug right now, we're doing a case of our local rise, which is we call it local rise because it's all local ingredients.
Mhm.
We buy local grains. Everything we sourced for that beer is local, and we have a case price of $30, which is way low, and we're giving it
For a case?
for a case, yeah. And we're giving all the proceeds to the Easton Food Bank.
Oh,
Sick.
nice.
Yep. And we're just about ready to pull the trigger. We're going to write the check before Thanksgiving, so everybody's.
That's well, especially
happening.
now.
Have you sold through all that?
I think we have a little bit left. Yeah, there's a few cases left, but I think it'll be gone.
You're
this
gonna sell
weekend.
it. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna
But
sell
like the lines
Cool.
at like speaking of food insecurity, the
15
lines at
cases, I
food
think,
banks are
at Monday's
crazy right
meeting,
now.
so.
You saw the videos yet? Like
Yeah.
the food bank lines are just like crazy. And I think they said
Of course they are.
it was like 1 out of 5 people were food insecure before. Now it's like, I mean, it was 1 out of 10. Now it's like 1 out of 5.
Right,
Yeah.
but so
You know what I mean?
so think about those numbers. I want to call people's attention to the first number. Okay, like COVID is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, why would it be 1 out of 10?
1 out of every 10. I want you to think about that.
Nuts.
Okay, and the people that I tend to focus on, and again, I've always been upfront about like my background. So like I grew up, and I was never food insecure. Okay, to be clear, like my parents I never went without food.
Yeah.
But I grew up in a rich town
Yeah.
as a kid that just had to keep up, and that was hard, like really hard. And I worry about the kids that or the families, in particular, like the parents
Yeah.
who are food insecure but won't ever admit that to themselves,
Yeah.
right? So like they'll never go to the food bank. So we're seeing in COVID, for example, a new kind of poverty.
Yeah.
We're seeing
Ramen
folks that have
noodles every
always
day.
been fine. No, right, folks that have always been fine. The kind of folks that are that feel, so everyone feels shame getting in line at the food bank. Or they shouldn't, but my
Right.
point is I'm not trying to make it sound like there are people that are like, no, the food bank's dope.
No.
No, but there's people now extra that are like, the punishment for that is no longer looking a certain way to their friends, to their, look, if you're used, and again, I know people aren't going to cry for folks that made 6 figures, but if you're used to making 6 figures and you live like you make 6 figures, and this happened and you're laid off and it's gone, right? But your daughter still has ballet class. Your daughter still plays basketball and the fees, and she's AAU, so the fees are still coming, right? Your son's got whatever, it belongs to any organization, and this is costing you you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. It happens fast, and you're not gonna reach out to an organization for free Thanksgiving dinner. You're not gonna call up Frank or myself for help. So that's why my big push is always to create these food programs that are meant to cater to everyone and are free. And my pitch is always if you don't need it and you come here, you're helping, because you're making it cool to come here. And then the people that need to come here quietly, they don't have to announce themselves.
Right.
That's why a big pitch that I'm working on here and want to try to push to Sharon is I want free lunch for everyone. And I've done the math, and it's not cheap, but we have some cool solutions, myself and a gentleman here in town, Constantine. Because at the end of the day, I just think as a kid growing up, I remember when I felt it was perception, probably not reality. My parents could afford pencils, but I felt bothering my parents for anything was a problem. So I remember not having pencils at school, not having the notebooks that are required, and then just as somebody who was always academically high, I just remember there'd be classes I would just fail, I just didn't care, and school lunch is a big part. It's a big problem. If kids don't know how their breakfast is coming, if people don't know how their lunch is coming, social starts to get affected, school starts to get affected. So that's a big push for me is these are things where the food banks, we should be supporting the food banks, but we also need to be more creative about how we take care of people. Because the dopest kind of charity is when you go here, man, take this. And it's not me saying I'm better than you. It's not me saying you need this. It's me saying yo, here, take this. I don't need it. When my son asks me why I give somebody $5 at a traffic light, I always tell him the same thing. I say, because I had it and I didn't need it. Yeah. And he seemed like he asked for it.
Yeah.
So I don't need to.
So you talk about being creative. I know we talk about this every week, but it's with all these kids not in school, it's every time I see another school close, I'm Jesus, these kids need to eat. You know what I mean? If they go to school, they're going to eat. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's they're not going to eat if they're at home, and we need them to eat.
I think they need to go to school for a lot of reasons.
Oh, of course.
The social, the
Social, yes,
isolation.
absolutely, yeah.
That's even, only a part of schooling is really the academic
Right.
piece of it. It's the activities and all the other interactions.
Yep.
That's where they learn.
Right,
So
exactly.
It's really important.
No, I know, and it's obviously a huge topic because COVID is rampant, right? But it's every town has to make these decisions every couple days. There's a new positive test. You got to send out the letter to the parents.
So Sharon did an unbelievable job, and it's funny because they got crushed. In the media, the perception is that Sharon struggled with it. Sharon was just a place where the fight was more public, But Sharon did an
It was a
unbelievable
choice,
job.
right? It was parents' choice.
Yeah, and so like my son is remote.
Yeah.
My daughter goes to outdoor kindergarten, private. But like friends of mine are remote. Friends of mine are hybrid. There are kids. There are different reasons that you could be in school 4 days a week. And I think Sharon did an amazing job in that they offered all. They offered, and it's funny because like our school committee got vilified for it. Like in fact, like our chair, Judy Crosby, got crushed publicly for it. But in the end, they fought.
Because people wanted it all remote. Is that why?
No, because anytime you're making a decision that is only going to like if you give everyone a choice, in a weird way, every decision you make is pissing off 70%.
Right.
But they had the guts, led by our chair, Judy Crosby. They had the guts to do what they believed in, and in the end, like I personally tip my hat to them publicly for the fact that, hey, it wasn't none of those decisions to get there were very popular, but you just don't hear a lot about Sharon Public Schools anymore. Like the teacher, like things are going okay. No one's dying. Knock on wood when I say that, but no one's dying, and children are getting what their family needs best. So like, my son has anxiety issues, and so I knew that going into a school with all the mask rules and all that, it wasn't gonna get him social emotionally what he needed,
right?
And it was gonna actually cause more problems.
Yeah, of course, with the mask.
But we had him at soccer practice. So if someone said to me, what do you think, like by being remote, like you're being super safe, but your kid's at soccer? I'd be like, no, I made the decision that works for that child. Like for him, remote academic was what was going to work best for him.
Yeah.
And being at soccer practice was what was going to work best for him.
Right.
And I didn't tell anyone else how to live their life either. So all I ever cared
you weren't
about
afraid
was
that
choice.
he was going to fall behind reading.
Right.
He's going to get what he needs at home.
Right. So my wife's a teacher. So all I ever cared about was choice for everyone, because there are people who are like, my child can't not be in school.
Right.
Like this is,
There's
and then there are people that are like,
yeah.
I can't send my child to school, and both of them are right.
Right.
Both
exactly.
of them have the right to make that decision for their family. And again, Sharon created an environment where everyone got to make the decision that was right for them, and Sharon then included in all that free lunch for everyone in school and not. You can pick up free lunch.
Oh, is that
and
right?
breakfast.
Yeah. I've seen that in a lot
beautiful.
of communities.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
because
smart.
the federal government
is funding it.
the federal government funded that, which is beautiful. So
Wow.
again, the federal
Are
government
you
funded
serious?
that. Yeah, yeah.
I haven't heard a lot of good things about the federal government when it comes to schooling.
I know. So he gets a certain way about this. Current
what do you mean?
administration.
All I heard, no.
He likes to be
I'm
super
saying-
positive, but
I'm like
Can we talk
a
about
lot
beer?
of a
So
lot
again,
of yes,
I'm-
I do need another.
yeah, me
but a
too.
lot of
So I'm Mr.
just
Positive.
for the record though.
I
What
know,
I'm saying
but you
is
know
a
that
lot
I'm
of,
middle of the ground.
Listen,
I'm
all
middle of the
saying
road.
is
That was an amazing thing that this administration did.
most
It
of
was.
the funding for schools is local. You know what I mean?
Correct.
State and local.
No, the
it's
federal-
like only $200 billion.
No, the federal government came in and funded free breakfast and lunch till next June. Till next June.
Yeah, that is a good
And
thing.
you know what? Hell fucking yeah, kudos to them for that. And again, you're right. They don't get a lot of credit for things like that, and it doesn't seem to align with what you would think their motives are. But without blinking, that administration provided free breakfast and lunch to kids. And to me, again, if somebody does, I've said this before on this podcast, the morning after anyone is elected,
Yeah.
I always become a fan of that person.
Yeah, but nobody's
And I
been
said it to my
elected,
wife
so
because
don't
I'm
worry
like,
about
look, that person, you don't root against someone who you don't root against the driver of the car you're in. Like at the end of the day,
Go off
I'm
that
not sitting
bridge.
I'm not sitting
You
shotgun
suck at driving.
going, you know what, Frank's a fucking shitty driver and he's gonna prove it by killing us both. No, I'm like, you know what? I just became a very big fan of Frank's driving.
No, that's fine. No, but honestly, I hadn't never heard that. Not
No, I know,
that I was
and
hearing.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and
Yeah.
and again, like,
Well, I always thought, right? So I saw this thing that they were talking about. Here it comes again with the canceling student debt, right? And I always think that $1 trillion, whatever. Why don't you just give that to every public school? That would be like $50,000 for every public school. Why don't we just fund public school instead of trying to cancel college debt? That makes
so it's interesting.
It makes no sense to me
it's
to do it
interesting.
backwards.
It's interesting. I've read economic studies that suggest, and I happen to agree with them, that canceling student debt would be
a boon for the economy, of course.
would be as negative a racial situation as has existed, and I don't want to. I'm about to use words that are going to be super triggering for a lot of people, but since nowhere near, but nothing has been as catastrophic since slavery.
I was gonna say, don't
and
say
I'll tell you
slavery.
why. I'll tell you why. Because by percentage, who overwhelmingly is being left out of that path because they couldn't afford it on day one.
Right, of
So
course.
now if you go forgive the
Right.
folks that could afford to take the loans, you've now just reset the whole economic situation.
No, I know.
As opposed to, if you want to make it free going forward, beautiful. That's an incredible leveling of the field. But don't forgive people like
Right.
like us who went. Like, I got to pay mine.
Yeah.
And, like, I knew that when I signed up. And so, you know what? Lots of people will go, what the fuck? It wasn't free for me. Okay, but you can't.
I don't
you
even
can't
care about that,
forgive
though.
folks now. And then what about the kid that, like, absolutely was qualified to go but couldn't afford it and went a different path?
Right.
And now they can't go back retroactively
Right.
and participate in that lane.
No, it's
No,
ridiculous.
instead, you've now economically advantaged the folks that had the opportunity.
They
that
already
didn't
have
have.
it.
Right.
No, I know. It's so dumb.
Can I crack one of these? Is that cool?
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah,
a
I want to
little
hear
bit.
about it.
So this was a beer that came out of another one of our
Oh, it's
collaborations. It's a sour.
That's gutsy serving a sour in a 16-ounce can. Most people serve that small.
Yeah,
But-
give me one of those. Or deal it. Yeah,
thank-
this one.
So
Morse.
Morse Cranberry Growers. They grow cranberries in Massachusetts.
Oh, this is why you're going to Foxborough.
mainly in southeast, the South Coast. Wareham, Carver, even on the Cape.
my gym. I'm not a sour fan. This is like not a like
No,
it's not stomach
It's
acid.
very approachable.
Yeah, so when I said it's
Right.
gutsy to put it in a 16-ounce can,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, there's those ones that get served in a snifter because, like, that's going to tear your stomach apart.
Yeah. No, this is not sour.
This is good. It's
It's
refreshing.
very approachable, refreshing.
I hope
great.
you don't take this as a criticism. I'd almost put this in the category as, like, a more flavorful, like, these flavored seltzers.
Yeah.
Like, it's got the mouthfeel like the seltzers. No?
No, I would go with you there.
I've never
I
even
mean,
had a seltzer, so I don't know.
We introduced sour
You haven't
beers.
had any of those alcoholic seltzers?
No, not one.
That's funny.
You know what
You're
this
too
beer,
proud, huh?
This beer does also.
Fuck that.
It's very approachable to wine drinkers, and we would have people come in the tap room. Do you have anything else besides beer? Well, we only operate under a license that allows us to sell beer.
Sure.
But
This one looks like a rosé.
exactly.
And it's really, like, it almost tastes like cranberry juice in a seltzer. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's super crushable.
Yeah, what
Honestly,
is
I
it?
would think the
5%,
bros
yeah.
would be after it because it's 5%,
Right.
and it doesn't, like, it's not sitting. It doesn't sit heavy. Like, this is a nice, and it's not like when you put sour on this. Like, I get it. I get where you got to call it sour, but like.
I don't know. So I don't know what a sour is.
So a
See, I
sour-
don't know shit about beer. I just know
A
when
lot
I
of
drink
times
it, if I
sours
like it.
are like a little
I usually
thicker.
like a sour.
They're a little more viscous and they're very astringent.
Oh, I'm
a lot
thinking
of times.
juicy. Never mind.
Like a lot, like very astringent. Like to the point where like they're very esoteric in the sense that like sometimes people drink sours because I'm a big fan of sours and no one else drinks one.
But
I was ready for this to hit me in the face.
yeah, well, I mean, I think some of the craft brewers have turned sours in a different direction than the original ones. I mean, if you look at the original lambics and some of the other
Right.
beers that came out of Belgium, which is where the sours really originated, they never were that thick puree of.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
That thick puree they serve in a snifter glass, and you're like,
And you pour it, and it's like
you're either like
Close.
if
You
you're
thought you were gonna drink cranberry sauce like early Thanksgiving right now.
like vinegary. Like I thought I was
Yeah.
gonna drink cranberry agrodolce. That's what
You
I
know-
thought I was gonna drink.
You could make a vinegar out of that too. You could turn that into a vinegar and make a vinaigrette with it. Even
Yeah.
you wouldn't even have to, turn that into a vinegar itself. You could add that into a vinaigrette,
Yeah.
and it would be beautiful.
Cranberry
Yeah, without a
walnut
doubt.
salad.
Exactly.
Oh, hold on. We're at a barbecue place here, okay?
No, but cranberry walnut is we're trying to stay away from
Cranberries?
nuts.
Or,
No, from nuts. We're
nuts?
trying to stay
Yeah,
away from
yeah.
nuts in this spot. But a cranberry vinaigrette would be great for our Cobb salad. We've been going back and forth on what the vinaigrette is going to be for our Cobb salad.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice.
Put some of that in there. And
100%.
in good shape.
yeah. Yeah,
Double
just,
Town cranberry Morse. So
love that.
all local here. So the guys
Just
are
all
local cranberry growers.
my high school gym teacher was part of this family.
Yeah, and they
I live on
had
Moore Street, by the way.
they have they had a office in the same building we were in. And so we struck up a relationship with the guys, and the rest is history, as they say.
Dope.
Nice.
See, that's why I'm saying if you were in the plaza here, you know what I mean? We'd have a baklava stout, like, you know what I mean?
So once again,
Sounds
we're
good.
with Frank from Shovel Town Breweries. We're at the grand
Thank you.
opening of Ala Esh and Sharon.
Yes, sir.
Barbecue, Avi's new barbecue spot.
So I have
Avi
to,
and Kyle and Brendan's
and the
new
is it
barbecue spot.
kosher? Is it kosher?
No, hell
it's not
no,
kosher.
hell no.
Yeah, I
hell
was just
no.
wondering.
I can't deal with
I-
those rabbis.
So I'm an Italian.
Okay.
I
My wife too. My wife too.
I cut my teeth in a strictly kosher deli
Dope.
in New Haven.
So the chubby chickpea was kosher for 2 years.
yeah.
Jumping
Not
through
my favorite
hoops.
2 years.
Jumping through hoops.
That's tough.
Yeah,
You know what though?
yeah.
I got an email today from like a woman who was like super sweet about Hold on, one of my guys is texting me here.
Hold on, I want to hear more about this deli. See, you said a lot of New York influence. That sounds like it.
Yeah, so that was it, really. And you know, you got to remember when I was 16 and I started working at the deli. And it was not just a deli; it was a big caterer. It was very successful caterer. That's where I learned all of my food preparation and stuff.
You cut your teeth.
I have a million stories about that, but yeah, the influence was from New York. So we would get all of our product from New York, like New York pastrami, brisket, turkey, and we had basically a New York style deli
Right.
in New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And and then they also had a high-end catering business that was kosher. So kosher catering, mainly up between New Haven and Fairfield, Connecticut.
All right,
They
yeah.
did, or actually
Up the Merritt.
Stratford. Yeah, right. Up and down the Merritt Parkway. Excuse me.
Can't bring a big truck.
And
Yeah.
No trucks on the
and
road.
I always around that time was the Jackson Brown song came out, the Loadout, which the first to come and the last to leave, working for that minimum wage. Well, that was pretty much
that
me.
was Frank?
That was pretty much me.
That
So
sounds like Avi, except he
we
doesn't
would
get paid.
yeah.
It's so true.
I mean, I was going to school. I was in high school. I was still, carrying my full load of high school classes. I basically would get out of school, go work in the kitchen. During the week, we'd prep for the weekends. Friday, we'd deliver stuff for the parties and maybe execute a party on Friday night. Saturday, at least two parties, if not three. And Sunday, another one or two parties. So, yeah, we
On
did
the grind.
yeah,
On the grind.
and it was great. And they had chefs that would come from the Culinary Institute of America, and they taught me an incredible amount of stuff about food preparation. And there was one woman that all she did, and she was a Russian of Russian descent, and she made just the garnishes. So she'd make a whole tray of these beautiful garnishes out of tomatoes and tomato roses, of course. That was always kind of fruit bowls out of watermelon that were just really high. It was all high end, very high end
Right.
stuff. And that's where I developed my love of the food industry.
I was gonna say it's funny how like things early on in your life like kind of shape like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you wouldn't be at a brewery if you didn't go through that probably. You know what I mean?
Probably,
Like,
yeah. So when I opened the brewery, I wanted to have a food program there.
Mhm.
So we did the best with what we could. We the building wasn't suitable to have a full kitchen.
Yep.
So we have, we're doing kind of creative stuff with what we have.
Yep.
So we do lots of flatbreads.
What about the next spot? The Foxborough Firehouse.
Yeah, it's going to have a full kitchen.
It is gonna have
Yeah.
a full kitchen.
Who's going to operate that?
I have a chef that I've been working with.
Dope.
Connell Kelly.
Cool.
He's out of Johnson, Wales. He's been
Nice.
working with me for
Johnson
a while.
Wales.
Yeah.
That's-
So,
A couple of my guys are from Johnson and Wales.
Jay Woo.
Including Kyle over here.
cool.
Yeah. What's the menu going to be like?
A upscale pubby type menu, but we don't want to, there's some other businesses there. We don't want to be the same as them. So I was also thinking about a wood-fired element, so wood-fired grill,
Wood-fired grill's cool as hell.
Yeah.
I have a wood-fired oven in my spot
Yep.
Yeah.
at Simca. But
Yeah,
wood-
you do pitas, right?
fresh
Yourself?
pitas, yeah. Calamari. We do some cool stuff in that oven.
In the oven,
but
yeah.
wood-fired grill, you can do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Burgers.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
probably
thinking?
burgers, chicken, stuff,
Yeah.
but a little bit upscale. We'll have to see when it comes. Maybe some steak, steak tips, anyways.
Steak tips, super New Englandy, man. I
Yeah.
think that would be great. I think
Yeah.
that would be a big seller.
Yeah.
Go steak
Do
tips.
some good steak tips. you
Yeah,
know.
don't out. This is just my opinion.
There
one
we
guy's
go. Oh,
opinion.
hey, you're gonna pay him a consulting fee.
I was about to say, no consult. This is me, but hey, I rock with you. Don't outthink your customers. Don't outfood your beer. So like, your beer appeals to the masses. Serve the masses their food. So like a really good burger, like be upscale in the quality, but not
Exactly.
in the
That's-
present. Too
that's-
many, I call it Instagram food.
Yeah.
When folks are like,
Why
Let's
people
put
take
some-
pictures of their Instagram?
exactly. Let's put some cool stuff on top of the burger and stuff. That turns a certain demo off. Just make a really high quality grind it in house.
I saw you were grinding filet the other day.
Yeah,
That looked
exactly.
delicious.
So we're gonna do a burger here Saturdays only from noon till they sell out, where we grind it to order.
Nice.
That's gonna be our thing.
Filet or not?
So it's gonna be a blend of filet and our trim.
Nice.
So yeah, because filet. The thing about a filet burger is it's almost too lean.
Yeah, not enough fat in
Not
it.
enough fat. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like, if you trim a whole tenderloin, you get fat.
Yeah.
So like that was the burger I posted the other day was trim tenderloin.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I didn't grind the filet. I grind the trim from the tenderloin with tenderloin in it. So we'll do like a brisket, fat, and tenderloin burger basically,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be dope. But like we'll grind it to order, and I think that's pretty cool. The I guess like my recommendation there would be just don't outthink. Like I wouldn't do a steak. No one wants to come to a brewery and eat a steak. Steak tips though, hell yeah, and that's super New England.
Right.
You know, just like have it. Have you ever been to Conrad's?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Their steak tips are the best.
The best.
best I've
Oh.
ever had.
That was one of the reasons why I
I mean,
was
the best
thinking
I've ever
about the
had.
steak
The best
tips
I've ever
because
had.
you know you're competing with the guy who makes the best steak tips around.
I'll order the
Yeah,
steak
it
tip
was-
sandwich.
that's what I was doing, yeah.
I didn't drink out of it.
I'll order the steak tip
Yeah.
sandwich, and I'll eat the bread, cheese, peppers, and onions and mushrooms or whatever with mayo, and then I'll just eat the steak tips. It's like bomb.
The steak tips are
steak
incredible.
tip-
at Conrad's.
incredible.
Incredible.
Like I got friends from Rhode Island. They're like, "Oh, you coming down? Bring some of those steak tips.
Hell yeah. I mean,
Like just bring them
Where do
raw.
you
Get them raw.
Where do you get them?
Conrad's, yeah.
Yeah.
Conrad's steak tips are dope. So my
Oh,
point
wait,
is like,
hold on. Does anybody do you know what the
I do know.
you do know?
I do know.
So somebody told me I'm like, nah, that can't be right. So
Yeah, no,
I,
it is right.
You know, don't
it is
don't,
right.
don't
It
say
is
it
right.
now.
What you think it is right.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll talk about
All
it.
right.
after.
Well, we won't
can't-
give them
yeah,
their
can't
secret.
All right.
I know someone that used to work there.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. I know. I always like. I can probably make this, but I just don't know what it is.
But it's just like, and they said it.
It's
long
a
enough. They
little-
What are
just-
you cooking now? It smells delicious.
Cranberry
Yeah,
Morse.
it does smell good. They're getting ready for dinner. So that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, we got to get wrapping this up so I can help my team.
Yeah, I
don't want to abandon
I'm
these
late
folks.
on an appointment that I
Oh.
should have been at. But hey, this was a lot more fun, anyways.
In the
It
kitchen.
is fun, and I got some great beer. I mean,
Uh-oh,
honestly, I
think,
appreciate
you know what?
you
Your
bringing dope
battery,
beer.
your battery's dead. I think you left your trunk open. I just noticed that.
Oh, that'll be fine. It'll be good. Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
never get to that appointment. You'll be back on heat in the kitchen in 5 minutes, waiting for a jump. So I've been here for a few hours, and there's been people in and out.
Yeah.
Avi, you didn't talk about those donuts either. There's a whole rack of donuts.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. So
Freaking
that's what's
donuts
funny
are
when you mentioned
delicious.
dessert. So Union Square Donuts in Somerville. Josh, I
I
reached
love
out to
their
Josh, and they're the best, like the gold standard. And so like I reached out to them, and I was like, hey, and they were, like I said, I rock with who I rock with. So like their vibe was exactly like how I am. They were like, look, like we're just like down to figure things out. So we figured out like how we can get these delivered every single day, fresh. And it's we're a weird place that's going to carry donuts, but isn't open till 11, right? But people already we're half sold out of these donuts
I was
already.
gonna say, yeah.
And we're going to start carrying these donuts now here on the Chubby Chickpea food truck, which is out in neighborhoods and stuff. And then anything that doesn't sell in a day gets turned into bread pudding at Simca. So we're gonna be able to flip this, and it's gonna be cool. And I mean, if you're out in these neck of the woods, no one is playing with us. No one is playing with Union Square Donuts.
Yeah, yeah.
The folks from Providence that are making kick-ass donuts,
Providence Donut. Or
is that what they're called? PRV or whatever?
PBD.
Huh?
PBD. Yeah,
Yeah,
PBD.
PBD.
PVD.
Yeah.
Like those folks, and they make dope donuts, but people line up for 2 hours to pick up those donuts. This coffee shop in Canton, I'm like, bro, they're
What's
right
up
here.
with the
just
specialty
come over
donut
here.
shops? That feels like a relatively new phenomenon. Like there's
No,
like,
far from it, dude. It's almost like a dead.
there's one
it
in
was
like
a-
Fenway
it was-
now. Like
It was big
Blackbird or
8 years
something?
ago. Yeah, oh, Blackbird. Yeah, but Blackbird is
Is it a
in
chain, I'm
like
guessing?
they started in the South End. They're like a local chain.
Oh,
like,
okay.
And listen, they're cool, but like Union Square, like as a guy from as the guy to his core, no matter how many of these things I've got, I'm the chubby chickpea through and through.
Yeah.
Like I cut my teeth that way. I came up that way. I want all my people to come through that, so like they experience that life.
Right.
Like I'm SOA on Sundays, Union Square Donuts. Like that's who I am. So like for me, it's like if you're gonna be like, yo, in the gourmet donut space, like who's the boss? I'm like, dude, I'm a Union Square donut
yeah.
guy. So and like when I say it's like almost dead, my point is like no one's like coming up with that stuff. No one's opening that tomorrow and getting dope. But like,
Right.
But these folks, they built this by being dope and existing in that space. And like, have you ever had like one of those like?
Yeah, of
I almost
course.
wanted to name the price. Like somebody came in today, like an older gentleman. I'm excited by the way that Simca's. I'll ask to be open 11 to 7 because like Simca's only open for dinner. And like I got people that like used to knock on the door and be like, "Yo, you go to lunch?" And I'm like, "Nah, I don't sell lunch." Like this
Go
dude
two doors down now.
This dude came in and I was like, I tapped Kyle on the shoulder. I'm like, "Yo, this dude asks Simca all the time if we sell lunch," and he was like, "Yeah, let me get 2 donuts." And he goes, "Are you kidding me on the price? You're selling those donuts for $4.25?" I said, "Yeah, I know." He goes, "Can go over to Cumberland Farms. You can get a donut for $1."
You can get a coffee for $1 too.
Okay, if that's what you want to do.
No, I said, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you. I go to Cumbies for a donut for $1. I said, I'm with you. I said, if you're looking for like a donut, like yo, I'm just in a rush, I just want
right.
a donut. You should skip us.
Go
to Cumbie, bro.
Yeah,
But
pay a hostess.
if you want something that's like gonna knock your socks off, pay. And he goes, all right, and he bought both donuts, and he was with it, you know. And my point is, like, anybody that was like, what's up with that craze?
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't know. Buy that maple bacon. You tell me. Because that maple bacon compares against a dessert, not against a donut.
Well, that's
So,
what
like,
a donut is, a
And if I
dessert,
told
you
you,
know?
like, yo, I can get you a piece of cheesecake for $4, you'd be like, dope, I'm in.
Yeah.
So, like, that's like, when you eat that donut, like, you're
Yeah.
not, like, eating that in the car on the way home.
Right.
Like, you're sitting down and eating that donut. But you're having a beer, you're eating that donut.
Yeah, no, that's not a Boston cream donut. That's a Boston cream pie.
Yeah,
That's right. So like it's just different. And honestly, bro, it's been like our biggest seller today.
You
It's
know,
like, that thing was full to start the day. So like
I'm gonna grab. I love apple cider. I'm gonna grab a couple of those on my way out.
yeah, the apple cider donuts are good. We're selling donuts today, which is actually kind of funny, right? It's like I'm like
Vietnamese coffee, huh? Ooh, that sounds
Vietnamese
interesting.
coffee, and I love an actual Vietnamese
Hey,
coffee.
cranberry ginger that goes well with the.
Oh,
what's
yeah.
there?
True, but like I said, like I'm gonna eat a brisket sandwich when I'm done drinking this beer. So cool. Well, listen, Frank, this was an awesome surprise.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
and I
great.
appreciate
I mean,
it.
I didn't want to interrupt, but I.
No,
I'm glad that
far
it
from it.
was
Far
This
from
is
it.
why we
great.
did it.
This is literally what we do. Is like we've had a lot of cool people from the industry on the podcast, and we always appreciate it because it's like, you know, again, like there's, and like I said, I rock with who I rock with. So to me, it's like if there's somebody doing something cool and they get it, it's always fun to have a conversation. So
Yeah, we were just gonna yell about like Cam Newton and Trump and shit. So.
yeah, we would
I'm
honestly.
glad we didn't go that way.
No, and both. By the way,
Wait,
real
Cam
quick
Newton?
though. No, but real quick though, before we get off, because I do got to get to dinner service. But Cam Newton, bro,
We got a season.
Cam Newton, baby.
We got a
So
season.
you know what's funny? It's like if there was a better play call on that last play in Seattle, and if Cam had played in Kansas City,
Yeah.
we'd be talking about a totally different
Or
season.
no,
Yeah.
or if he doesn't
Or if
fumble,
he doesn't fumble in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so like, listen, that's not my way of suggesting like, oh god damn it, it
but
should
we
be
have a
ours.
season.
No, but
We
my
have a
point is, for those evaluating Bill in his plans,
Yeah.
this wasn't a dumb idea,
No, of
and it's
course
worked. Like they just took the Ravens down, so like. It does work. Like it's different. It's not what we're used to watching.
Like
but
they
you know
still
what?
have it.
I'll never forget on Columbus Avenue, in Adrian's apartment, sophomore year, checking the score on a Sunday night game when they played. I think they played Miami, and they won 7-6 or something like that. And like you check it, like that's how the Patriots used to win. People forget Bill won 3 of those 6 titles with a Brady that used to throw for 220.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
People forget that. No.
I
look
mean,
those
all right,
stats up.
all right. Yeah, what about that Carolina Super Bowl when he put up like 32?
No, I'm not
You know what I
saying
mean?
he
Like-
never threw
No,
for that.
no, I know.
My point is, they used to grind out football
Yeah.
games.
Well, what I say
Antoine
every-
Smith was a catalyst to a Super
And he
Bowl.
was terrible too.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, he hit the hole for sure, but I mean,
But my point is, like, when you say
like
skill level,
like Damian Harris is a much better running back than
Damian Harris is amazing, and people have been and by the way, another reason why I stopped questioning Bill Belichick. People have been yelling like, "Where's he? Where is he? Where is he?" And they're saying he can't draft. And now, sure enough, like maybe they brought him along at the right speed.
Yeah.
And right now he's a beast.
Oh, he's
Like
an
a
absolute
beast.
monster.
Incredible.
But Josh
Incredible.
McDaniels still sucks because that dude was tearing through Buffalo. Why is Cam Newton running with the ball? Like, why isn't that Damian Harris? Like, Damian Harris would have got there too.
No,
Like,
I'm starting to go. You know, I used to love Josh. I used to think like
I hate
he's
him.
the best,
I
and I
don't
think
like
he
him at
will
all.
be the next head coach. But now I'm like, he does some things sometimes. I'm like, what are you doing? Just way too cute. You know what I mean? Just like you're running down their throat. Just give him the ball.
by the
when
way,
they get down,
that
it's like
throw.
third
By
and
the way,
two.
that throw from Jacoby.
Oh my God, what a dime
That's a
piece.
quarterback throw.
What a
Like that's an
dime piece.
NFL quarterback throw. Like you didn't surprise the defense. You just gave the ball to a better quarterback.
That what it really was.
Somebody who could throw the ball.
I know that's corny,
Well,
but like
hey, what I say every week though, if you got Cam or whatever, or even with Stidham, just get to 24 points. If you can get to 24, I have faith that you can win the game. You know what I mean? So just get to 24 every week. You're not gonna get to 35. This isn't
how funny is it
2007.
that now they're talking about J.C. Jackson, like on sports radio, as like, well, now you got a number one. Now you got a number one, like blah blah. And it's like,
Did you
dude,
see what the Patriots did, by the way? So I did you hear
Pro
that?
Bowl
Like,
video you're talking about?
You heard
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Which I can't believe this is true. If it
No,
is.
it's a lie. It turns out. So they talked about this for 2 hours. So for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, the rumor was that the Patriots kept J.C. Jackson off of the Pro Bowl voting for financial, like because they
well, I
don't
don't know
want
if
him to
it's
want
for
more money.
financial. Just
But the truth is that after talking about this for 2 hours today on WEI, one of the
You
people
still
on
listen to that?
one of the no, I just happened to be in the car today. Somebody from, and by the way, I listened to it for 10 minutes. They said we've been talking about this
Oh,
for 2
God.
hours.
sounds dreadful.
When somebody on the show finally just actually went to the website where you Pro Bowl vote, and J.C. Jackson's on it.
Oh, is that right?
So
Yeah.
it just turns out that
Well,
like,
it must
whoever
be
wrote
the
that-
it must be the play. Don't the players have a vote or some shit like that?
No,
Like
no,
the-
it's that they added him late. And
Oh,
listen,
yeah.
the reason was because he wasn't a starter at the start of the
Yeah,
season.
they probably have to
So
submit
it's
it like
just a
September 1st.
Exactly. So like at the beginning of the season, only the starters league wide get submitted, and J.C. Jackson took over later. So like,
But
what do
it's
you
one of
want?
these things, like
oh,
him-
he's 6 picks. He should, if he continues this way,
Oh.
should end up a Pro Bowler. Like
Oh,
he should.
all
He has
pro,
6 picks.
all pro.
All pro and Pro Bowler are so different, but yeah.
Yeah, but if you lead the league in interceptions,
No, I know, but all pro's weird. Where like all pro's one of those things where like you almost have to have a year like this to then be considered all pro.
Yeah.
You have to
You know,
have a
like
second year, yeah.
right? Like the
Yeah.
first time is like who's having a great year. All
Right.
pro is almost like who of a certain echelon is having a good year.
Hey.
I'm not saying it's fair, but like anybody that just has a good year. Because think about it, like you could have 6 picks by having 6 great plays and just be a garbage corner the rest, like, or a mediocre corner the rest of the year. Like Malcolm Butler came out of nowhere and then he shut guys down for 2 years.
Yeah, right.
Now, by the way, he's mediocre.
no, J.C.
Like,
Jackson's
extra
following his
mediocre.
path,
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't, Bill's not gonna get credit. He was undrafted, right? I think.
He was
Jacoby Myers undrafted. Like he doesn't get
J.C.
credit for these
Jackson
guys.
was either undrafted or
What,
I think drafted
7?
by someone else and cut.
No. He was definitely with the Patriots at his first training camp.
Okay, then
I
he was
think he was
uncut, then he was
undrafted.
undrafted.
Yeah.
Because I heard they said he didn't draft him. But and by the way, so that's the point of bringing him up. It was my point was like now
He
here
still
comes
brought those guys
Harris.
in.
J.C. Jackson's playing great. So
Yeah.
it turns out that like Bill's not a complete moron. Like he misses on Chad Jackson. And they're going to talk about that for 2 decades.
Yeah, right.
But like.
It's like, well, yeah, you go to the Super Bowl every other year, like you got to get some credit. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, and it's not just coaching, which obviously is a huge part of it, but you got to give them credit for undrafted free agents and all that other shit.
Exactly. All right, I got to go cook some food, bro.
All right, hey,
All right.
I'll let Esh.
Hey, great
Shovel
time.
Town
Thank
Brewery.
you very much for
Appreciate
inviting
you,
me
man.
in.
Thank
and-
you. Dude,
and
anytime
enjoy
you
the
want to
beer.
bring beer,
I was
you're
gonna
welcome.
say, hold on. Every Monday, usually.
You might see me on Mondays. I'll have to come by for a
A donut?
brisket sandwich. Is it
Oh,
the
yeah.
brisket? You
Yeah,
got what else
brisket.
you have?
We got
what else?
brisket, pulled pork. We do a
It's
smoked
right
lamb
behind you. The
leg,
menu's directly behind you.
Ooh.
smoked leg of lamb.
Oh, that's
and then
delicious.
and then we also do
and
smoked
what
turkey.
do you do? Slice that or
We slice it. So
Yeah.
and we serve it as a plate or as a sandwich. And we got some grilled sandwiches on top of that. We got some specials. We got
Yeah.
dope ass sides. We do a Brussels slaw,
Brisket Sammy.
smoked sweet potato puree. But the brisket and the smoked leg of lamb are the dopest. What
Yeah.
up? What up?
All right.
All right. Well, I got to fly. I'm
right,
way
same.
late now.
Thanks,
Same.
Frank.
All right, Corey.
Hey, thanks
All right,
a lot,
Frank.
guys.
Appreciate
Thanks
you
for
guys.
having me.
Heat in the
Absolutely.
kitchen.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right.
Cool.
That was cool. We should do more of those. Yeah, you're Thanks for inviting